Chapter 12. 13. Immortal Opportunity Business. Translator, Atlas Studios. Editor, Atlas Studios. What? Hearing the conversation of the two Gu immortals, Fang Yuan's ears stood up. He jumped out of the tree, landing above the two Gu immortals as he hung himself on the branch. It was a normal reaction for the type of monkey that Fang Yuan had transformed into to behave curiously like this. The two Gu immortals did not even raise their heads. But Fang Yuan was well aware that these two Gu immortals had already activated their investigative methods. They also found Fang Yuan. But Fang Yuan's familiar face was a rank 8 immortal killer move. It was beyond their methods. The two immortals had no suspicions. They continued talking. One of them said, "Brother Luo, don't worry, I also gained interest after hearing Lady White Rabbit's words. I want to interact with the rumored dream realm and test the opportunity for myself. Even though I, Zhao Lei, am a mere lone cultivator, I hold my promises. Since I promised you and made an information path agreement, I would not do something out of line. Precisely because of your reputation, Zhao Lei, us brothers agreed to meet you. Otherwise, you would not even see our shadows. Follow me. When you enter the formation, say that you are a member of Luo clan and are here to bring an immortal Gu to my brother." The Luo clan Gu immortal walked as he explained. At the side, lone cultivator Zhao Lei was following after him, listening attentively. Fang Yuan sat on the branch as he watched them leave. He even followed them, brazenly jumping from tree to tree. Only after the two Gu immortals vanished did he stop moving. He looked around, screeching in confusion. His disguise was extremely convincing, displaying the might of a transformation path grandmaster. From start to finish, these two Gu immortals had no suspicions. Interesting. Fang Yuan went back to the trees. His eyes bright as excitement rose in him. He had accidentally encountered two Gu immortals' secret deal. These two had coincidentally chosen this mountain peak to meet, and right in front of Fang Yuan as well. This luck was amazing. Hearing their conversation evidently, a righteous path Gu immortal, who was part of the defensive Gu formation, had gone ahead and done a secret deal with the lone cultivator Gu immortal, Zhao Lei. The righteous path Gu immortal led the way for Zhao Lei, letting him enter the defensive Gu formation and find his own opportunity. Fang Yuan scoffed at Zhao Lei's idea. "You really think the dream realm is this easy to interact with? Opportunity? Without specialized dream path methods? What opportunities can there be?" And that righteous path Gu immortal called himself Luo. He must be from the Superforce Luo clan. Southern Border's righteous path had 13 superforces. They had their respective territories in the entire region. Luo clan was one of them. "Can I use this chance to get into the defensive Gu formation and interact with the dream realm?" Unavoidably, Fang Yuan had such a thought. He took a final glance at the formation before leaving. The monkey that Fang Yuan had turned into jumped from tree to tree, climbing mountain cliffs and continuing to travel. After half a day, he finally left the original mountain. Continuing on and getting past some mountain peaks, Fang Yuan got rid of his transformation and returned to normal. He had a vigilant nature. If he used an immortal killer move close to the Super Gu formation, he might draw the attention and wariness of the righteous path Gu immortals. This distance should be safe, Fang Yuan estimated internally. He was not certain because he had no understanding of this Super Gu formation. However, even if the righteous path Gu immortals found his traces, there were no issues. I do not believe that after the righteous path super forces made this Super Gu formation, the demonic path and lone immortals did not come to probe it. Fang Yuan guessed correctly. The Battle of Yitian Mountain was like a ball of lightning. From the calm lake that was Southern Border's Gu immortal world, it caused a massive tide that has risen with ferocity. The Battle of Yitian Mountain, it involved the immortal Gu House graceful chaotic duel stage. All the major forces in Southern Border and countless Gu immortals paid attention to it. Later on, the righteous demonic battle also affected the whole of Southern Border's Gu immortal world. But eventually, that huge battle at Yitian Mountain destroyed everything. All of the Gu immortals that were involved died, and in place of them at Yitian Mountain, there was a gigantic dream realm that manifested out of nowhere. This made the southern border Gu immortals unable to even investigate Yitian Mountain. The parties involved, Shadow Sect, Heavenly Court, and Fang Yuan, were keeping very quiet about it. These southern border Gu immortals were all kept in the dark. Ever since the righteous path went ahead to encircle the giant dream realm and created this super Gu formation, the demonic path and lone immortals were very unwilling to give in. Many of them wanted to investigate this Gu formation. The righteous path Gu immortals often found traces of these people, but as long as they did not charge into the Gu formation, they turned a blind eye. Fang Yuan chose an ordinary mountain cave and stayed for a few days. He waited for Zhao Lezi to leave the defensive Gu formation. Zhao Lezi's movement was not concealed. He left on the same way as he went in. Since Zhao Lezi disguised as a Luo clan Gu immortal, when he left, he had to be open and nonchalant. Otherwise, it would be suspicious. Fang Yuan stared fixedly at Zhao Lezi. Seeing him fly away, Fang Yuan followed after him closely. The two flew for a while. Zhao Lezi's speed suddenly slowed down. He stopped at the peak of a nameless mountain. He turned around and looked at Fang Yuan. "Friend, you have been following me for so long. Is anything the matter?" Zhao Lezi did not have a confrontational attitude. Because Fang Yuan had purposely revealed his traces to Zhao Lezi when following him. He also used attitude Gu to express his goodwill. Zhao Lezi could sense it. Zhao Lezi thus did not speak to Fang Yuan in a bad tone, but he was still very guarded. "I am truly sorry for troubling you," Fang Yuan greeted as he expressed his intention politely. Zhao Lezi heard Fang Yuan's following words, and his expression soothed. The reason was, Fang Yuan called himself a wandering lone cultivator. He was curious about the dream realm, but he had heard that Zhao Lezi had a way to bribe the righteous path Gu immortals and get inside the defensive Gu formation. To personally interact with the dream realm, he wanted to see if he could find any opportunities. Fang Yuan thus waited outside for a long time, only following Zhao Lezi after he came out. "So news have already spread. Even an outsider like you has obtained information about it." Zhao Lezi was not suspicious. He smiled helplessly. "Come with me. It is normal that you want to enter the dream realm to find your immortal opportunity. However, I am not a key middleman. I will bring you to Lady White Rabbit." Zhao Lezi was very enthusiastic. He might not know Fang Yuan, but his southern border Gu immortal aura could not be false. Furthermore, southern border was the region with the most secluded cultivators in the 5 regions. This was southern border's trait. Many Gu immortals would not be known by people from the time of their ascension until their death. With less than a day's journey, Fang Yuan met with Lady White Rabbit, thanks to Zhao Lezi. This female Gu immortal had the appearance of a woman in her 20s. Her eyes were red like rubies. She had a cute round face and shiny big eyes. Her lips were lush. She spoke very quickly. Words came out of her mouth like firing a Gatling gun. The scene of meeting with Lady White Rabbit made Fang Yuan quite surprised. Because this Lady White Rabbit directly placed a mortal Gu house at a mountain peak, many demonic path and lone immortals were entering and exiting this house. "We only do dream realm business here. You came to the right place. If you want to enter the dream realm, I have many reliable ways. It will depend on what price you can pay. The bigger the price you pay, the faster you can enter the dream realm. Perhaps you might be able to find your own immortal opportunity." Lady White Rabbit said this as she pointed her thumb at the wall behind her, while facing Fang Yuan. There were all sorts of small boards there. People's names were written there. "There are 5 more people in queue." Zhao Lezi saw this and sighed. "You must know the importance of the immortal opportunity." Lady White Rabbit stared at Fang Yuan as she spoke, listing many examples in history before she added, "The prophecy of 3 venerables. You must know about it. Dream realm, this is the immortal opportunity that concerns Great Dream Immortal Venerable. Think about it. If you can become Great Dream Immortal Venerable in the future, what would happen? Even if you only get one small opportunity, your situation will change. If you do not try this, how would you know if you are able to succeed? That's right. Even if you know you cannot succeed, you can ensure that you have no regrets in the future. Zhao Lezi added at the side, a precious dream realm that even the righteous path Gu immortals are coveting. It is so rare that we can have this chance. That's right, now is just the start. Thus, the righteous path is not very strict yet. Lady White Rabbit continued, purposely telling Fang Yuan. After a while, it will be different. This business will not last long. The opportunity will depend on whether you can grab hold of it. What price do I have to pay? Fang Yuan pretended to hesitate. Lady White Rabbit said a sum. Fang Yuan showed a look of hesitation. I will consider it first. Of course, consider it well. Lady White Rabbit smiled. Her attitude was still very polite. At this time, a female Gu immortal came to the counter. Lady White Rabbit's smile became more sincere. She disregarded Fang Yuan as she went over. Sister Miao Yin, you are here to try to find an opportunity again? That female Gu immortal nodded, saying, I feel that if I change to another location and enter the dream realm, I will have different gains. There were many Gu immortals inside the mortal Gu house. Lady White Rabbit was not the only intermediary. From time to time, new boards were hung on the wall. Fang Yuan walked out of the mortal Gu house saying goodbye to Zhao Lezi. You can consider this again, but in my opinion, you should decide it as soon as possible. It cannot be dragged out. You can see the situation for yourself. The longer you think, the longer the queue of Gu immortals become. There is no time to waste, Zhao Lezi said before leaving. Fang Yuan expressed his gratitude as he left. Well, has he not made up his mind yet? Lady White Rabbit finished attending to her sister Miao Yin as she asked Zhao Lezi. He said he needs to think about it. Sigh, I thought that I could earn a sum of recommendation fees to replenish my losses. Zhao Lezi smiled bitterly. Zhao Lezi, you are so affluent. Why are you acting poor to me? Lady White Rabbit laughed. However, this person that you brought is likely a wandering, secluded cultivator. He is poor and does not have resources. Otherwise, why would he leave? Those with some funds would at least stay and interact for a while before leaving. Zhao Lezi laughed bitterly. How am I affluent? I thank Lady White Rabbit for the praise. To speak the truth, this price is really expensive. Even I feel great loss. Lady White Rabbit smiled, showing her pearly white teeth. This business relies on both parties' wishes. It is pricey because it is worth the cost. This is an opportunity involving Great Dream Immortal Venerable after all, right? Zhao Lezi nodded, making up his mind, saying, I will pay a sum of resources. I want to try again.